Many people believe that low bone density is just an unavoidable part of aging, but that's simply not true. Hi, I'm Justina. If you've completed the first 2 classes, you've already built a solid foundation. Now it's time to raise the bar by adding even more resistance to your workouts. As always, these strength training exercises work by creating tension on your bones. This tension signals your body to produce more bone tissue, resulting in denser, stronger bones over time. This not only strengthens your bones, but also helps lower the risk of osteopenia, osteoporosis, and fractures. And don't forget, when you pair these exercises with AlgaeCal's 16 essential nutrients, you're giving your bones the best chance at long-lasting strength. AlgaeCal is the only calcium supplement clinically supported to increase bone density, a distinction no other supplement can claim. If this class feels too challenging, no worries. You can always revisit classes 1 and 2 to reinforce your foundation. Now, let's get started. Before we get started, there's a couple things I'd like to have you get ready. One is a chair or a bench that you could put your heels on. The other is a set of blocks or books about 6 inches you can place against a wall. I'd like you to have a couple sets of weights ready. 3, 4, or 5 pounds for the upper body exercises, and about 20 pounds for your lower body. Now, let's get started with the floor. You'll lay on your back, legs extended, hands under your tailbone. This supports the low back. Remember, we've been working on how to increase intensity through the low belly and control it when your spine wants to go different shapes. Squeeze the legs together, and when you're ready, you're going to lift the legs off the ground and reach them up to the ceiling. If you need to adjust your hands here, this is a great time to do so. Shoulders relaxed, and you're breathing, lowering and lifting, smooth and steady. The squeeze of the inner thighs, the ribs are always coming down towards the pelvis. The low back is supported. Your breath can go in and out. Start to pay attention where the heat starts to build up in the body. Reaching up to the ceiling as your pelvis plants heavy on the floor. Last one, up and lower back down. Flipping over to your planks. Now in this plank, I just want you to hold. Your ankles are always the same distance apart as your wrists if possible, pressing down into the pads of your feet, the pads of your hands. Can you still keep the face up? Push the heels back and breathe. Planks aren't very fun for a lot of people, but we can do this. Besides, it'll feel more satisfying how much power you can put through those arms. You might even feel a stretch through the back of the shoulder blades. Push. If you need to, release some of that tension through the ankles. We're almost there. Hanging in for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Getting right into it today. Now, back to that start position. You have to hold this one too. Squeezing the legs together, lift up, and just see if you can increase the intensity and the endurance in your abdominal wall. If at any time this is too much, lower your legs slowly. Please don't just drop out of it. You want lots of control. Generate that tension in your legs before you lift up. You'll probably start to shake here. It's okay. This is your body building new muscle. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And if you lower as well, make sure you're still pulling your belly back away and keeping the muscles on until your weight of your legs hits the floor. 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower back down. Let that tension release, and we're going to shift the weight in our plank now. It's a small shift. Extend one leg, anchor it before you lift the other leg. As you push your weight to your right abdominal wall will feel a little bit more tension, a little bit more strength. You can kind of hunker down into it a little bit more. Then find center and over to the left. Your left heel is still pushing back. Lots of weight through the left foot. Center again. It gets warmer and warmer. What this is doing is putting more pressure on one side of your body while the other side gets to down-regulate just a little bit, but then it's ready to pick it up again. You could do circles, reverse, but feel how you're shifting through those sides. Lower back down and flip onto your back once more. This time you're going to lift your legs up and we're just going to open and close with that tension. Shoulders down, up you go. Now, opening and closing, keeping the inner thighs nice and tight the whole time. Pause, hold. Now this time you're going to crisscross just a tiny, 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 tiny bit. So your inner thighs are working just a little bit harder than they do when they're pulling into each other. Think of the movement coming from the top of the leg. Hold them together again, regroup, hold, hold. And last, crisscross for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release onto your plank. This one gets more interesting too. Pushing your heels back. We started to do that little shift. Now prevent as much shifting as possible and tap your shoulder. Now this exercise isn't about the tap, it's about everything else left behind. Push into that floor with everything you've got. Push. That same strength that we used in the last exercise, can you rev more of it through your inner thighs, pushing your toes down. Spend a little longer in the transition, spend a little longer at the end range. Good. This is your last one, right here. Sit back and stretch. Push your chest out, push your hips out. Coming up to a deadlift. 20 pounds will be a little better for your leg weight. And we've done these in the other videos, but we've never done it here. With the weight, both legs doing the same thing. So your heels are pushing into your heel cups. Holding the weight, you push your hips back again. Pause. Can you still keep the weight through the waist and drive the heels to come back up? So you've added more weight to the muscle, but it has to go through the spine because your arms are attached to that. That's why you want to get a little bit more strength through the core, awareness through the core, control through the core. Stay a little lower, stay a little longer, and then use that power to come up. So if this is 20 pounds, how do you generate 20 extra pounds of force to overcome that? Last one. Perfect. Now we'll head on to the triceps. What you'd like to do is place one knee forward, the other hand, if possible, on that thigh. Not on the kneecap, but right up on the thigh. We already did the row. Pull that arm back so you can feel the back of the shoulder blade, the scapula, pushed against the ribs, and more importantly, the ribs are pushing into the scapula. Then we add on to the triceps. Now, I want to show you a little trick. Really reach with your pinky back just a little bit more, and you'll get more triceps. Reach. Keeping the elbow up. Little tiny tweak. You can feel more fibers coming on. The back of the arm is where we're targeting while we're staying in a row exercise. Use your feet, pushing into the ground. And last one, hold, relax. Let all the tension leave that arm. Switching sides. Anchor your feet nice and steady. If for any reason your balance feels off, put the back foot against a wall. Hand on your thigh, and this press helps you anchor yourself to the ground. Row, engaging the back of the shoulders, and here we go with the triceps. Extending that tiny little pinky. Reach, push out just a little. How do you put the weight through your front leg? Can you push it all the way down through the foot evenly? Lots and lots of strength in that front leg and powering through to the arm. Find that little pinky tweak at the end. Hold a little longer if you need to. And resist how quickly you come back down. One more. Release. Back to your deadlift. This time I'd like to see if you can go just a little bit further with this one. We're not trying to touch the floor. You're really trying to see how much sensation you can get at the back of the thighs. Pushing your hips back, feeling your hamstrings, the back of the legs stretching, and then feel the power to come back up. The back of the shoulders are really working to hold the weight from pulling you forward and pull yourself back up. We sometimes joke this is an anti-walker exercise. You need good hamstrings to not hunch over. They can't be tight, they can't be loose. They need to be somewhere in between. Inner thighs help. This is your last one coming up right here. Release. Back to your triceps. We're going to add on top. Interesting fact, you're going to feel stronger in one of these exercises versus the other versions. Extend the arm exactly the same, but this time I'd like you to see what it feels like to turn your upper arm in without rolling the shoulder blade. Bend. Remember, you're keeping your elbow up the whole time. Turn. Try to twist more. Now, the reason we're not counting this is I want you to take the time and really engage, feel what muscles turn that arm in. And then what do your legs need to do? The stronger you find that internal rotation, it's called. Now, if you have old rotator cuff injuries, don't push it so far. Usually we have them because we're not good at this. Last one. And in. Switching sides. Remember, the turn comes from up here, not here. Push into the thigh, feel really grounded. Row. Set yourself up so that when you straighten the arm, it's got something to pull off of, to turn off of. Extend, turn that arm in, squeeze it close to you. Again, keeping that shoulder down and back. Reach to the room behind you. The elbow is still reaching. We did this in video 2, where your arm was pulled back behind you into this very shape right there. Roll, roll, turn it in. You've got one more. You've got one more. Make it all work together. Good. And release. Back to your bent over deadlift. If you feel like you can up the ante with the weights, you're welcome to do that anytime. For people that are hypermobile, sometimes it's better just to stay with the same weight. Push the hips back. Exhale, up. Feel the weight of the shoulders being pulled back in the sockets. And when you bend over, you still want to keep that awareness. Arms are helping legs, legs are helping arms. I like to take a lot of time here. When I come up, really feeling that resistance, letting go on the outside of the foot and pushing into the arches of the shoe. They help you generate more power. It's called internal rotation at the hip socket. That's what jumping is. One more time. Good, onto your last set of arms. This time, instead of turning in, we're going to turn out. So what that looks like, back into your row, strong feet. Extend the arm, but turn it out. Again, be very careful of how you're using the arm to turn. If you have old injuries, you just start the motion. You don't have to finish the turn. Can you strengthen in a range without irritating tissues? Sense what it requires of your whole body to keep that arm up and performing for you. And last one, switching sides. Good. Strong anchor, strong push. When you're ready, into the row and extend that arm, turning out. This is called external rotation. Now, in order to do push-ups and pull-ups, You need good internal and external rotation of the arm socket. To do low squats, you need good internal and external rotation of the hip socket. Take your time. Always stay focused on how the shoulder blade is plugged right onto that rib cage. The rib cage is coming towards the spine without changing the shape of it. All of these layers build. That should be your last one. Good. And release. Now we're on to squats. So we're going to go 3 down and 1 up. Push your hands together or push them on your hips. And we're going to go down. See if you can hold here about knee height or a little lower. What we're going to do is see if you can go down and up 3 pulses and then drive yourself back up to standing. It's like pretending you're going to jump in a mud puddle and then not. It's just that elastic force. Be careful you're not bouncing in it as much as that elastic drive that brings you up. And it's getting more tired. The longer you pulse, the harder it is to get up. Can you keep going lower than your knees without collapsing into the system? And what I mean by that is if you just completely fall down, it's very difficult to get up without using your neck. Drive. Last set. You'll love this one. Now for our side planks. Back down into your side plank. Good. Now your feet are wide as your wrists again. You're going to turn, plant your feet confidently on the ground. Reach this arm all the way up. Back to center, turn your feet. Once they have planted onto the ground, use them. Good. What we're trying to do here is move all that tension from the squats out of the legs and into the arms and the abdominals a bit more. Do one more each side, please. Now you'd like to start to sense where your hand is in relation to your feet. Because actually when you end up turning over, your hand is between the 2 legs. Good. Lower back down. One more set of squats after that. This time we get to shift. Back down into your squat, push or prayer. Nice and low. You're going to shift a little bit of weight into one leg. It should really come through the hip and inner thigh and waist, low belly of course, and shoulders. You're taking a little bit of weight off the other leg without turning your shape. Come back to center. Get reconnected. Shift. It's going to burn this leg out a little faster. Good. Back to center. So there's fun things you can do once you get stronger with this one leg. Holding down. Center. Keep pushing. Feel why over here it takes longer and longer and longer. Come all the way back up. Back to your side planks. These ones get a little fancier and a little bit of more of a stretch component. Can you push your ribs away from the floor and your hand towards your head? Good. Back to your side plank. Lower your hips first to come to center, then shift. Push into the ground to do your side rainbow. Pull up on the waist. Up. Pulling up the hip bone, the ribs. Feeling that relationship of 2 arms. You're still pushing. Nice. One more on the other side. It's really a big chest opener on the side, but you have to work for it. Nice. You like the squats now. If you feel like you can, we're going to jump for this one. So could you go down and up? Using your hands. Now people like to either jump with the arms forward, or some people like to jump with them coming back when they lift. Land as quietly as you can. And 40 seconds feels like a long time in this one. Change your arms sometimes, changing the brain. Feel why the arms help you jump. Now, if you don't like jumping, you can just pretend you're going to get that same elastic fiber. 2. Good, one more. And relax. Move that blood from your legs to your arms. Back to your side plank. How we're going to change this one is you're going to lift up, lower as far as you can with control, and back up again. Lower, switch. Up. How lower can you go without collapsing into the shoulder? And back up. One more. Side plank to rainbow. Side plank, lower, return. Side plank, rainbow. Side plank, lower. Use everything to come back up. Good. Sit back and stretch again. You did a good workout today. Hands over to one side of the mat and lean into that same open rib you just had in the side plank. Push your hips off to the side and then the other side. You could drop a shoulder down. And then we've got one more stretch for you. Please come back up to standing. Legs nice and wide. We're incorporating that strength that we used. Take your hand on your thigh if possible and see if you can turn your chest just a little bit more to it. It may increase the stretch in your inner thigh. Look over your back shoulder and incorporate the chest turning because of the arms. If you feel comfortable with it, place the hand lowest to the floor on the ground and the other arm reaches directly above it. Turn on your triceps and pull yourself to your bent leg. Release, come out of it the same way you went into it. Over to the other side. Place your hands on your thighs and feel free to stay here. Otherwise, turning more. Dropping that hip if you can, pulling yourself over to the supporting leg as much as possible. Option to take bottom hand on floor, top hand to ceiling. Now remember, we've been working a lot. Push the hips back. Use your bent leg to pull you over. Use your triceps to turn more and look up to the ceiling if you're comfortable. Good. Come back down out of this and shift your weight to come up nice and easy. Great job today. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. If you found this a little too challenging, please go back and visit the videos 1 and 2, where we cover a bit more of the foundations. For even more support on your bone health journey, don't forget to sign up for our free AlgaeCal newsletter. Each week you'll receive easy exercise videos to strengthen your bones, delicious bone nourishing recipes, and expert tips to keep you active and strong. As a subscriber, you'll also get exclusive access to offers and deals you won't find anywhere else. Sign up today and enjoy having your own personal bone health coach delivered straight to your inbox every week.